So picture this. You're prepping for like this big presentation at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your boss, or like maybe even the CEO, suggests a SWOT analysis.
Oh, yeah.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities.
Classic.
It's like business 101, right?
It really is. Yeah, it's like a rite of passage in business school.
Totally. But here's the thing that like keeps me up at night.
Okay.
Has anyone ever like actually wondered where that came from?
It's one of those things you just sort of assume has always been there.
Right.
Like the business world equivalent of gravity or something.
And that's what we're looking into today.
Yeah.
This deep dive is going deep
Okay.
into this really dense scholarly article about the history of the SWOT analysis.
All right.
Get ready for corporate intrigue, a dash of mystery, and a whole lot of, wait, seriously.
Yeah, buckle up, because it turns out the commonly accepted like origin story we all know is about as accurate as
Oh, no.
a fortune cookie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the story usually goes that it came from Harvard Business School in the 60s, right?
Right, like practically business gospel at this point.
Yeah.
But this article throws a real curveball. Instead of Harvard, they trace the roots back to the Stanford Research Institute,
Okay.
SRI, and this approach called SOFT.
Wait, soft?
Just soft.
As in like...
Yeah, so we're talking satisfactory opportunities, faults, and threats.
Wow, even back then they loved a good acronym.
They sure did.
So how does soft become SWOT?
Well,
Like, why have I never even heard of this?
so picture it, the 1960s, right? The business world is changing fast.
Yeah.
Technology's booming. Globalization is taking off. Competition is getting fierce. And SRI was at the forefront of this like new wave of formalized planning,
Right.
trying to help businesses make sense of it all.
So not that different from today then.
Not all.
Companies always need an edge.
Exactly. That's where SOFT2 comes in.
Okay.
It's this structured way to analyze both a business's internal situation, like what's working, what's not,
Okay.
and their external environment too. You
Right.
know, those opportunities and threats lurking out there.
So we're already seeing like the foundation of the SWOT analysis.
Yeah,
Even if the name's a little different.
precisely. But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
This article uncovers this whole like secretive arm within SRI
Right.
called the Long Range Planning Service,
Catchy?
LRPS.
LRPS? What is that?
Think of it as this exclusive club
Okay.
for Fortune 500 companies. For a hefty fee, these businesses got access to cutting-edge research on business strategy.
Oh, wow.
And yes, that included the soft T approach.
Oh, man. Ultimate business insider secrets.
Oh, yeah.
I bet boardroom meetings were brutal.
I'd imagine. And that secrecy makes it so hard to piece together exactly what went down.
Right.
The authors had to do some serious detective work,
Oh, wow.
tracking down former clients, digging through archives.
What, like a historical treasure hunt?
It really is.
So what'd they find?
Well, they pinpoint 1966 as a pivotal year.
Okay.
That's when the soft T approach starts appearing in these super exclusive SRI executive seminars.
Okay.
We're not talking about like your average conference here.
Right.
These were invite-only, packed with industry titans.
So like the best minds in the business workshopping, soft.
Exactly. And somewhere in all of that, it morphs into the SWOT analysis we know today.
So is this a simple acronym switch up, or like are things actually different?
It seems like both. The article actually found evidence that a consultant named John Humble
Okay.
probably came across soft at one of these SRI things,
Mm-hmm.
and he adapted it and integrated it into his own consulting work.
Fascinating. So it's like a game of business telephone.
Right.
And the idea gets passed around, tweaked, refined with each retelling?
Yeah, and it gets even wilder.
Okay.
How does this super secret soft approach become like the SWOT analysis, the
Oh.
one we all know and love or love to hate today?
Right.
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
A lot of the original documentation from SRI's long-range planning service,
Mhm.
the notes, the reports, everything,
Yeah.
it's all gone.
Wait, are you serious?
Vanish.
What happened?
So intriguingly, all of this research was kept in something called the Planning Library at SRI.
Yeah.
And sometime in the 1990s, poof, it was disbanded.
Are you kidding me? All those secrets just gone. That's insane.
Gone. Makes you wonder what other business world mysteries are hiding out there.
Right. And it makes the author's work even more impressive.
Absolutely.
They managed to find anything.
I know, right? They piece together these fragments of the story, but there are so many gaps.
Yeah.
Like, how does a consultant named John Argenti,
Okay.
with no apparent connection to SRI,
Mm-hmm.
end up publishing a book in 1974
With 2x2 SWOT grid.
yes,
The one we all use.
one and only.
With strengths in the top left.
Yep.
Weaknesses on the right. How did he get that?
It's a real head-scratcher. The article doesn't have a definitive answer,
Of course not.
but it shows just how randomly information could spread in the pre-internet age.
Right before LinkedIn influencers.
Exactly.
Viral threads.
Right. You can bet there are a lot more water cooler chats
Totally.
and clandestine meetings fueling those aha moments.
This is already way more interesting than I thought it would be.
Right.
Corporate secrecy, missing archives, consultants with slightly tweaked versions of SWOT.
It's a wild ride.
It really is.
It's like a business thriller or something.
Right. But that's what's so cool about these deep dives.
Yeah.
Like even stuff that seems basic.
Right.
Like the SWOT analysis can have this crazy backstory.
You really never know.
Don't judge a business tool by its cover, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just shows, like people love a good mystery. We love a good story about innovation, intrigue.
Totally. So
Yeah.
like, how does this all connect back to us now?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
Right. Why should we care about the history of SWOT?
Well, because it's not just about history, right?
Well-
Like, understanding where SWOT came from can actually make us better strategists today.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, for one, it reminds us that SWOT isn't static, right?
Okay.
It evolves, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
The soft approach was a product of its time, but the core principles,
Right.
analyzing your situation inside and out, recognizing your strengths and weaknesses,
Is that-
those are timeless.
Okay, so we should be thinking about how to adapt SWOT
Yeah.
today.
Absolutely. It's not one size fits all.
Right.
Using a tool without understanding it can actually hurt you.
It's like trying to use a hammer to fix everything, right?
Exactly. Sometimes you need a screwdriver or, I don't know, some duct tape.
Totally.
And that's why this history is so important.
Okay.
It helps us see beyond that simple grid
Right.
and get to the deeper principle.
Be more mindful.
Right.
Intentional.
Exactly. And that's something that's easy to forget today.
Right.
We're so busy all the time,
Mhm.
moving from one thing to the next.
Oh, boy.
We don't take the time to really understand the tools.
It's like we're so focused on the finish line, we don't look around.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the answer is.
It's all about the journey sometimes, right?
Totally.
Seeing how things have changed can make us better at making decisions.
So it's not just knowing how to do a SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
It's knowing why.
Yes.
Seeing how the idea has changed.
Exactly. And that brings us to, I think, the biggest takeaway here.
Okay. I'm ready. Okay, hit me with it. What's the big takeaway here?
It's surprisingly simple, actually. Never be afraid to, question the status quo.
Okay.
Just because SWOT is everywhere in the business world
right.
doesn't mean it's the end-all, be-all of strategy.
Question everything.
There you go. Be curious. Dig deeper. Look for the story behind the story.
I love that.
You never know. You might just uncover the next SWOT analysis.
Right.
The next big idea that everyone will be talking about 50 years from now.
Or maybe the next big idea is like a napkin sketch.
Right.
In a boardroom somewhere.
Exactly. That's what's so cool about all of this, right? Business history is full of these weird little twists and turns.
Totally.
It reminds us that progress isn't a straight line.
Right.
It's messy. It's about connecting those dots, challenging what you think you know, and never losing that sense of wonder.
Well said. And on that note, huge thank you to everyone for joining us on this deep dive into SWOT.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Hopefully you learned something new, had a few laughs, and feel ready to find the hidden histories in your own work.
Absolutely. Stay curious out there.
We'll see you in the next one. All right, so